Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. I don't know how many days in advance this is gonna be uploaded. Probably just one day. But I wanted to have shit prepared, so I'm recording like right after those 4 videos to try and make it a little bit easier. I could just upload like the day after. So let's continue. Oh, just had a run, so I'm a little out of breath. Wake to the annoying din of my alarm clock, its bright red numerals lighting up my face. It's the same alarm clock I had at home. Volume's already at max, okay. One of the few remaining artifacts from my days before coming to Yamaku. I'd hoped that using it would help ease my transition into this new life. No such luck, though. Groggily dragging myself out of bed, I wipe the sleep out of my eyes, then reach over to my desk. I open up a couple of the bottles of medication strewn across it and swallow a few pills dry. By now, the process is starting to become automatic, something I should be glad for, given their purpose. Feeling much more awake than before, I wander into the bathroom. While the shower warms up, my mind begins to wander as my new daily routine begins once again. Bright colors of fireworks fill my mind, as do the 2 girls with whom I spent my time watching them. It feels strange to be moved so much by people I know so little about. Then again, I suppose these aren't normal circumstances. At least I have someone to talk to now, aside from my schoolmate next door. That fucking crazy asshole. With the time left before school begins today waning, I begin to get ready for class. Walking through the door into the classroom, I notice that I'm still somewhat early. See about 5 or 6 students milling around, most of them looking as if they'd rather still be still in bed. It's at times like this that I appreciate being a morning person. That said, 2 students in particular seem to be perky as always. Hi, Misha. Hi, Shizune. Hi, Misha. It seems it should go the other way. I don't know. Suddenly realized that my greeting would be lost on the former, so I quickly follow it up with a wave. She doesn't seem overly bothered, or interested for that matter. Hello, Hichan. Are you feeling well? I can only assume her greeting comes from Shizune. It's hard to tell if she's speaking as herself or Shizune sometimes. Better than most everyone else, I guess. You two seem bright and chipper. Misha signs this back to Shizune as I say it, eliciting a somewhat terse answer. If her sharp and rapid arm movements are any indication. Considering that these two made such a big deal out of the festival preparations, I probably should have chosen my words more carefully. Since you're a new student, we've been cutting you some slack. Please don't expect this kind of task dodging to be allowed in the future. Misha looks as if she's about to add her own comment, but quickly goes back to interpreting as Shizune continues, unabated. While your contribution to Class 3-2 stall is appreciated, huh? Word sure got around quickly that, or these two have their fingers on the pulse of the school. We would prefer your efforts to be focused on the task at hand, namely your own class. As much as I hate to admit it, they do have a point. Before I can respond, though, Shizune adds something more, which draws a smile from Misha. Did you enjoy the festival, then? Lecture over, I guess. Yes, it was good. Did you two enjoy it? Shizune gives a short nod as Misha grins and bounces her head up and down. The contrast side by side is amusing. I just imagined her just like headbanging hardcore, like, yeah, I enjoyed it. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice more students starting to trickle into the classroom. A quick glance at my watch confirms that they're a few minutes late. I look over to Hanako's seat and realize that she's already there and contentedly reading a book. It makes me wonder just how long she's been there without me noticing. With heavy footsteps coming up the hallway signaling Matao's arrival, our idle talking comes to an end and I take my seat next to Misha. As the door slides open, he strides through with a ponderous gait, His posture is even worse than usual, and his eyes are barely staying open. I guess my quip to Lily and Hanako about the staff was misplaced. Everyone opens their books as he reaches his desk, and the first class of the new week begins. I rub my eyes as the lunch bell rings out, glad for the temporary reprieve from work. I'm entirely unsurprised when I look over to the door and see Lily standing there, cane in hand, patiently waiting for Hanako. Considering her acceptance of my request to join them yesterday, I decided to spend my lunchtime with them rather than eat alone. Hanako moves surprisingly fast to meet her companion, and the other two enter the hallway before I can catch up. Lily's head turns slightly, registering the sound of footsteps behind her, as Hanako notices and follows her lead. She almost jumps in surprise. Hisao? Hello, Hisao. Hi, sorry if I startled you. Didn't we go through this before? Lily turns to greet me, helped in her orientation by Hanako. Good afternoon, Hisao. Are you joining us? If it's no trouble. There's not much else to do, really. She gives a small nod, as if to silently brush away any idea that it would be troubling in the least. Whoa. Quick transitions. We descend one set of stairs and walk down the hallway to the usual room, our pace somewhat quicker than usual thanks to Lily using Hanako for direction, rather than her cane on the railings. As expected, it's deserted. Sounds like the other clubs can only barely be heard as sunlight streams into the room from outside. Looking around the room, I notice a couple of empty easels propped up against a wall that I don't think were there before. The art club must use this room as extra storage. Should I get the chess set out? Hanako's voice seems less tense when she's directly addressing Lily. Yes, I'll make tea while you sort the pieces. And while they do that, I have a bag of treats that I would like to open and grab one. Easter, motherfucker. Of course I got treats. Except I suck at opening them. Oh my dear lord, I'm gonna kill somebody. Not really, I'm just like, I hate trying to open these things, they're so difficult. Where's like a pen or something? I should have a pen around here. Fuck it, I don't think I have a pen. This sucks. Fuck it, hold on, I'm gonna pause the recording and find something to open this with. Pause. I have it open. Now, if you'll excuse me for 1 second, I must grab one. Yes. Delicious. Ugh, Reese's truly are amazing. Okay, did I read this? Yeah, I read this. I can do that for you if you'd like. She ponders the offer for a moment before smiling, confirming that I've made the right choice. Her face is remarkably easy to read. Very well, thank you. She slides a retracted cane into the handle of her bag and sets it against one of the table legs before taking a seat opposite of Hanako. As I prepare tea for the three of us, I can hear the small wooden pieces being set on the board. I wonder how good Lily is at chess, given her circumstances. By the time I place the steaming teacups onto the table, Lily and Hanako have already moved their first pieces as they nibble on sandwiches and rice balls from their respective bags. I note that the chessboard they're using has holes in the middle of each square and pegs on the bottom of the pieces, and has each dark square slightly raised. Watching Lily's fingers skating over the board, tracing out the positions of the pieces, makes me marvel a little at the simple ingenuity of of the design. It must be specifically made for blind players. Here you go. Hanako gives a small nod as I put the cup down next to her side of the board. Lily's hand ventures sideways slightly, so I gently place the cup, touching the tips of her fingers, a gesture she seems to appreciate. Finally, take a seat and silently sip my tea as the two play. The contrast in their appearances while playing is interesting to watch. Hanako looks closely at the board, her face one of focused concentration. Lily, on the other hand, keeps her head level and maintains her calm neutrality. Lily's gentle voice addresses both of us as she continues to play. How was class now that the festival's over? I look to Hanako to see whether she'll answer first, but see that she's doing the same. Not great. Half the class seemed to be dozing off, even including the teacher, not to mention a test on top of all that. Hanako quietly adds her own agreement with this. I could imagine that being a bit difficult for you, being a transfer student. Well, I think I did fine. Other than the shock of the test coming so early, science is probably my best subject. How do you do, Hanako? Me? Okay, I guess. Hanako's too sincere to be able to pull off lying very well. That much is obvious. Lee's smile slips very slightly. From her reaction, Hanako mustn't be skilled enough at academics to do very well without preparation. How did your class handle it, Lily? It went surprisingly well, actually. Only one student was absent, which is better than what the teacher expected. With the topic all but dry, the two concentrate on their chess game once again. Can't say I've ever liked the idea of chess as a spectator sport, but given its unique nature, for once I'm wrapped in watching the game unfold. As time wears on, both of them demonstrate decent skill at playing the game. Having captured two more pawns than Hanako, Lily has the upper hand, but only slightly. Until Hanako makes a strange move with her queen, seizing upon this lapse in judgment, Lily takes the piece with her knight. Without hesitation, Hanako moves a pawn to take Lily's rook on the opposite side of the board and promote it to a queen. Lily's face falters as her fingers move over the pieces and realizes that she just fell to Hanako's trap. It's a little distracting to have a board traced out for each move, even if it's out of necessity. Judging by Hanako's lack of reaction, she must be used to this. She and Lily must have played at least a few games of chess against each other after all. Check. It's not bad at all. Nice, Hanako. The compliment causes her to flower into a surprised blush. Thank you. I didn't think it would work. I look over to Lily, her fingers having just tracing out the position of her remaining pieces in an attempt to extricate her king from this bind. I think this is checkmate. Take another look at the board to confirm. Sure enough, her king has nowhere to escape without being threatened by another piece. My earlier question as to which of them is better at this has just been answered. So it is. Even though no chess game I've ever played has only lasted like 30 minutes. Which is usually the time it takes for a lunch period to be, but who knows? In this place it might be like an hour-long lunch break. But for school for me, it was always 30 minutes. Except for high school. That was 25 minutes. Lee gives a small sigh as Hanako smiles. From their reactions, this seems like a fairly usual result. How long have you two been playing? Since I was young. Lee nods at Hanako's brief answer. Hanako taught me how to play soon after I met her. I can beat her every now and then, but that's a rarity. I don't seem to have the right mindset for it. If Lily came to Yamako at the start of high school and met Hanako when she moved to the dorms, that means she'd only been playing for about 1 year. After seeing Hanako's level of play, I'm not too surprised Lily has trouble beating her. But she's better at languages than I am, so. Lily gives an appreciative, if slightly amused, smile at Hanako's quick reversal of her compliment. Well, that's how it is. Much to everyone's surprise, the bell suddenly rings, heralding the end of to the lunch break. That game lasted longer than I thought it did. Same. I guess we'd better get back to class. Hanako's already in the middle of packing up, so I take Lily's bag and offer it to her. To my surprise, she takes it and nods, but then places it back down on the table. Sal, may I make a request? Sure, go ahead. Do you mind if I were to quickly feel your face? It's how blind people fucking figure out what you look like, man. It's not sexual at all. It's how blind people find out what you look like. Blind people have a hard time figuring that shit out, man. Because they're blind. No, go ahead. I don't mind. Question takes me severely off guard, but once I regain my composure, it seems sensible enough. So far, Lily's had no idea what I actually look like, and this would be her only way to find out. Lily raises her right hand, which I take in mine and guide to my face before letting go. Swoop is entirely silent as Lily's hand moves over and around my features, from my chin to my cheeks to everywhere else. That sounds oddly sexual, and I'm not gonna go there. I expected this to feel a lot more disquieting than it does. I suppose that's because the action is entirely a matter of practicality, being functionally no different to simply looking at someone's face. Her hand is soft, but what takes me by surprise is the length of her fingers, not to mention how sure even the slightest of her movements are. I have no doubt that her level of tactile feeling would be far beyond mine. Hold on. Her hand briefly runs through my hair before retreating. I'm sure that every inch of my face has been committed to her memory. It's only now, too, that I realize Hanako has been silently watching the whole time. Thank you for letting me do that, Hisao. If I might add, I think you are quite handsome. I blush a little at her remark before raising a questioning eyebrow. But if you can't see how... Just because I can't see, that doesn't mean I don't have my own preferences. We'd better go now. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess we'll see you later on then, Lily. Walking through the hallways back to our classrooms, I notice that Hanako seems quieter than before, but also more comfortable. Lily, her hand on Hanako's shoulder, seems to pick up on her assured pace as well, smiling as they walk. If I could spend the rest of my time at Yamako like this, I don't think it'd be so bad. All that's needed for joy are small exchanges of happiness, after all. Ugh. So as I reach my desk. Okay, reach for my desk. It should be, I think. But I ain't gonna question it. The writers of this don't use like the same type of writing and shit that we do. So, well, the same writing and shit that I do. So, I wouldn't expect it all to be written perfectly. As I reach my desk and set my bag beside it, I realize something, or rather, my stomach does. I was so busy with those two, I forgot to buy lunch. You dipshit. Wow, chapter change already? That was a short-ass chapter. How much time am I working with? I want to see how long that actually took. Barely any. Holy crap. Saturday, my second most favorite day of the week. It's my first favorite day is Friday, so yeah, Saturday would probably be my second. This is almost entirely due to the fact that it is the day with the second least amount of school, with class ending at the beginning of lunch. Oh no, not Kenji. Please, no Kenji, no Kenji, no Kenji. Open my door confidently, myself being more than confident about of being able to get enjoyment out of the fine weather and shorter class length. Oh, good. I confidently stride down the hallway and down the stairs to the lobby of the male dorms. I confidently look behind me to see whose footsteps are approaching. Fuck, it's Kenji. I lose my confidence in this day being enjoyable. Oh my god, no! I hate you. Go away. Hey man, sup? Not much, I guess. Just looking forward to the afternoon. You? Get the out of my face! Ugh. He wraps an arm around my slumped shoulders far too comfortably. Something's up. Step outside, shall we? What are you gonna fucking you challenging me, bro? Step up. I was about to before you stopped me. He doesn't take my reaction to his theatrics well. Ignoring him, I walk outside and start down the steps. Doesn't take it too long for him to catch up with me again. I wonder if he wants money or to rant about another conspiracy. Maybe both. Oh, that would be truly horrifying. Oh, really? You got a bone to pick me with me? Let's go. I'll fucking choke you by your own scarf. Let's do it. Uh-huh. It's about that blonde. You know who I'm talking about. Dude, she's blind. She's blind. How much of a threat can she be when she's blind? Conspiracy it is. For the moment I contemplate feigning ignorance, but realize this will go quicker if I just let him get it all out. Lily, the one from your class? You're on first name terms with her? Dude, I'm gonna be on more than first name terms with her when I'm done. Alright? Just chill. He looks positively shocked at this development. Did he not expect me to be able to answer? He gathers himself and coughs into his fist, dramatically, like everything he does. Well, never mind that. I'm here to warn you, man to man. Warn me about what? Lily? She's blind, you dumbass. Yeah, you don't you don't know her, man. She's blind. It's mostly true. I've only known her and Anako for less than 2 weeks, and even then, we've just been exchanging banal. Is that banal or banal? One of the two. I'm gonna go with banal because it's easier. Banal chatter about school as we while away lunch. I'm pretty sure you don't either. That's not the point. You're the one spending inordinate amounts of time with her. Yeah, because I'm working at something, man. It distresses me that someone like Kenji, who's probably as far out of the loop as one could possibly get, knows about such a trivial fact as who I choose to befriend. Then again, I am a transfer student. She's not only the representative of their class, but also a tall blonde. Maybe I should appreciate this ranting as a warning that the rumor mill exists in this school and that I'm firmly within it. It's just lunch, nothing special, asshole. Look, man, under the bridge, see this bridge? You're under it. I haven't heard that term in so long, dude. Look, man, under the bridge, see this bridge? You're under it. Man's got to do what a man's got to do to get into. I just want to make sure you don't end up too far under the bridge. Oh, trust me, I'm gonna be like underground. You're losing me, Kenji. That's okay. Lots of people get lost. That's why I'm here to help. Oh, well, why are you still following me? Just be careful around her, okay? She looks all harmless on the outside, but I've heard shit. Bad shit. She's blind. I can't stress the fact enough. She's blind. Who is she gonna hurt? Matter of fact, if she chose to hurt somebody, how is she gonna catch him to hurt him? Or how is she gonna catch him off guard to hurt him? You know the student council, right? He seems to involuntarily shudder as he says the words. Putting him and Shizune together in a room is an amusing mental exercise. Wonder if they've met. Yeah, probably. It probably didn't go very well. Yeah, Shizune and Misha are in my class. Seem to have dodged the draft though. Good man, good man. Yeah, 'cause that student council shit is annoying. It's work. But this blonde, she was there in the student council, right? Damn. Right? Damn there. I see. And, asshole, she's not there now. Your point? Seriously, think about it. Something must have gone down. Stop walking for a moment, giving the idea more thought than I probably should. It would explain the fight the two had, at least in part. Wait, no, not really. Even leaving the student council would need a catalyst. In the end, it doesn't explain much at all, other than the fact that their feud goes back some ways. I guess you have a point. I'm not seeing how that really affects me, though. Okay, now field this one. Lily's foreign, obviously. Obviously, dude. Now, what nationality is she? Irish. No, Scottish, I'm sorry. I'll open my mouth to give the answer, but realize that I have none. In fact, I've given the matter very little thought. Given that she has no accent and acts perfectly Japanese, I suppose it never really seemed important. Now that he mentions it, though, I'm rather curious. To be honest, I don't know. Maybe English? They like tea. I shouldn't resort to stereotypes, but that's the only lead I have. You're not thinking, luckily, you have me here to think for you. If you thought for me, dude, I would probably be like the most hated dude in the school right now. Gee, thanks. Brushes off the quip effortlessly. Now answer me this. Who has lots of social power? Is filthy, stinking rich? You know, blondes are all rich, right? Not necessarily. Has a long history of disputes and used to belong to a much larger organization. The Roman Catholic Church? I like that answer. Well, okay, there's that. But there's also the Mafia. Come on, rich, foreign. There's no way she doesn't have connections to them. Okay, now you're being stupid. I have reason to doubt the logic of his deductions, but he shows no sign of stopping. God, will you stop believing in her? So you know where I think she's from? Italy. Mainland Italy's small time, dude. Fuck you! I'm Italian, you motherfucker. She has to be from Sicily. All those mafioso types come from there. Not really, dude. Wait, no. Russia, damn. This could be bad. The mafia there is serious business, man. Ex-KGB everywhere. Paramilitaries, hardcore smuggling, and... Wait, stop. Just slow down a sec. What point are you trying to get at here? You don't know what she'll do, man. She's blind. I won't get in your way. Agents don't operate like that. But I just want you to be careful. She's blind. I'm going to keep saying it because obviously you don't get it. You're partially blind. She's full-blown blind. When the time comes, we'll need all the help we can get. I don't want to lose you, comrade. Well, at least he's concerned for me. Kinda. I wave goodbye to him as we separate out of our respective classes, but I'm not sure that he sees the gesture. Piling my books into my bag, I catch a glimpse of the library books I'd borrowed last week. Might as well return them, considering they took all of 2 days to finish. God damn, he reads fast. Briefly consider inviting Hanako along to the library, but she's already gone. It'll probably be better for my studying if I'm alone anyway. With a quick sketch and a wave to a couple of classmates who give the same to me, I make my way out of the classroom. As I open my bag and shove the books through the return slot in the front counter, I notice a strange person behind the desk, old and graying. She must be Yuko's replacement when she's working at the cafe. I begin looking for a free table, a task made somewhat difficult considering that despite there not being many students in here, they're all sitting at their own tables. Noticing a familiar head of hair, I walk over to one near the braille section. Yes. Knew it. It's hard whether to tell Lily's concentrating hard or not, her placid expression holding perfectly still as her finger slides across the dot-filled pages of her book. Hi, mind if I sit here? Hmm. Oh, no problem at all. She trails off, evidently still focused on her business at hand. Ah, Hisao. She gives a nod of greeting her at, as I sit opposite her at the table. Pluck a chemistry textbook out of my bag and quickly thumb to the chapter we're covering in class. For a while, we sit there and read, each in our own way. Seeing her reminds me of what Kenji said this morning, though. That and the fact that I've never seen someone read in Braille before makes me keep throwing glances at her. Kind of feel guilty about it, given that she has no way to realize I'm doing so. So I decided to just ask her about it. Her lineage isn't exactly a state secret, after all, and there is another thing I've only just noticed from her movements. Hey, Lily, mind if I ask a question? Just a small question. Take a seat. Take a seat right here. Not at all. Is something wrong? Is anything wrong? I was just wondering. You're at least par foreign, right? She gives a small giggle before setting down her book. I've always been amused at how squeamish people are about that. Akira's mentioned how much she and I look different from most others before. The details are a bit complicated, but I'm half Japanese, half Scottish. Called it. I remembered. Yay, my mind did not fail me. Brain, you did not fail me. Scottish. That was not exactly my first guess. Takes some effort to not blurt it out loud. Try to conjure images of the place in my mind. I think as far as the UK goes, Scotland isn't bad to live in, but I'm not really sure. My first guess of England was surprisingly close, at least geographically. That does leave another question, though. But you have no accent. That's where the details begin. I was born and raised in Japan, despite my mother being foreign. Ah, I get it. Hold on, if she moved to the dorm simply due to Akira working longer hours, they don't live near the school? She gives a small sigh, as if she didn't expect me to go any deeper. Was her previous frankness just a front? And I love how I said that with such, like, emphasis. What I didn't even mean to, it's because I was losing breath. Not exactly. It's been a long time since we've actually met. I feel like I'm not getting the whole story, but I don't really want to go unduly prying into her situation. Her about face shows she feels kind of awkward about it. So, do you speak much English? To be honest, I don't know that much about Scotland, but at least I know that that's the main language there. It takes her a moment to collect herself, appreciating the change in topic. That's right, my family mostly used the Japanese around the house when I was young, but they made sure Akira and I knew our Scottish side just as well. I'm fluent in the language, but I'm also studying it in school to keep my skills up and to have the qualifications on paper mainly. So you're bilingual? That's pretty impressive. It is pretty impressive. I wouldn't go that far. Having parents who can speak the language is a large advantage, and English books in Braille aren't too hard to buy or import, with Yuko's help at least. Oh shit, I just hit the microphone. That's probably going to show up in the recording. Oh no. There's a relatively high demand for local English teachers here anyway, which also helps me give some motivation to learn it well. Demand for English teachers. For a moment, I wonder why she brought this up. You're planning to be an English teacher? She gives an enthusiastic nod. Must be nice having such a definite future in mind. I've never really given much thought to mine. So I'm kind of envious. Hmm. Oh, my back itches again. What's wrong? It's just, I can see you as a teacher pretty easily. It suits you. For a moment, she's speechless. She lowers her face a little and lets out a nervous giggle, something I've never seen her do before. With Lily's role as a class representative and her dependable nature, teaching it does seem to be a line of work fitting her personality. Sorry, that was probably a little much. It is true though. Waving her hand in front of her face dismissively, she quickly recovers. It's not that, it's just that only one person's ever said that to me before. A short, somewhat awkward silence follows the discussion. Without knowing it, I ended up steering into a troublesome topic again. I should try to cheer her up a little. It was me who went and got her brooding, after all. Want to go grab lunch at the cafeteria after this? Might perk her up a bit, or at least take her mind off her apparently complicated family situation. Going by her smile seems to have the intended effect. I appreciate the thought, but the food there. Quite a quick redirection to the conversation. She does have a point, though. The food there isn't the greatest. Maybe the Shanghai? We could ask Hanako if she wants to come as well. Ah, what is it? I almost forgot until you reminded me. Hanaka's birthday is coming up soon, and I was going to go shopping in the city for a present tomorrow. If that's an invitation, I'd be happy to accompany you. The ability to get more used to the layout of the city would probably be a good thing. I barely set foot in there, so I'd be hopelessly lost by myself. She gives a nod, signaling that she happily approves of the plan for Sunday. We eventually get back to our books, though before I begin reading again, I steal one last glance at her. Maybe I've been thinking of my situation too much. After all, everybody here would have their own unique circumstances. The chance to get outside and clear my head will probably do me some good. Okay, I went through fucking 2 chapters now. How much time we working with? A lot. Working with a lot of time here. Bored of standing in place and watching the television in a shop window, I pull myself away from the tacky display with little effort. After living at Yamaku, the city seems like an entirely different world. Oh shit. I ate a drink. I've been left quite tired after running, so I actually do need a drink. Oh, yes, that was good, yes. Swallow it, yes, it's good for you, yes. No running in the halls. Calm and orderly conduct is to be used at all times in the classroom. Students are to exit rooms after checking both directions for oncomers. Elevators are reserved for movement impaired students. Single file on stairs. Compared to such strict, almost regimental standards, the city's shopping arcade might as well be a strange country. While the school may have its fair share of hustle and bustle during the festival, the outside world is much different. Strange having lived in a metropolitan city before my accident, this should feel more natural than Yamaku and the surrounding town ever could. Yet it feels foreign somehow. The elevated walkways and tall buildings, each adorned with billboards taller than any 3 people, don't do anything to distract me from the passing crowd's reactions. Hey, you actually changed your outfit. That's great. Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, the other holding her cane, which taps the ground with a metronome-like steadiness. Looking over to her with looking over to her, that neutral smile of hers still holds. Having only seen her in school uniform, I'd not have recognized her as she sat on a bench waiting for me to come, if not for her cane propped up against it and her distinctive hair. I can't tell whether they're glancing at her due to her height, her forward looks, her obvious blindness, or all 3. Not that any of those would make the situation any less uncomfortable than it is. Do you have any ideas of where to look first, Tasao? Her soft voice breaks me out of my line of thought. I can't imagine that she's failing to notice the attention that she garners, but she seems unfazed by it. I get the feeling she's the type to enjoy walking outside, so she might be used to it by now. Not really. This is my first time in this city, so I've got no idea of where to go. She furrows a brow in thought, planning a route for us to take, and come to think of it, a way to communicate. Well, communicate it. Something I'd noticed in the time I've been with her is how, when deep in thought, she lacks close to any form of body language to show it. Her expression may change, but not a hint of movement shows. She seems to have little in the way. She seems to have little in the way of sweeping physical gestures in general. General though, so I've assumed it's part of her reserved nature. Is there a large electronics store near here? Take a quick look around, mostly finding clothing stores. After a few seconds, I notice a store with a bright blue sign some distance away that fits her description. Yep, it's just a bit ahead of us. Should we go in that direction? Thankfully, it's just the information she needed. With a nod, we start off and head towards Lily's unknown destination, landmarks being our guide. Here you go, one vanilla, one chocolate. Ice cream. I hand the money over the counter and take the cones to the railing that Lily's sitting on. I can't believe I let her trick me like this. She not only led me to an ice cream stall, but also got me to buy her some. At least she gave me the money for hers. Oh, bogus, dude, you should have paid for hers. You so bogus. Sure enough, she's patiently waiting where I'd left her. I guess she was planning on making the day an event rather than a simple shopping trip. You know what? Since we've already got to this point of the story, I'm not gonna mind her. I'm not gonna mind her going all the way up in the screen like that. If Kenji does it, I swear to God, I will cut it out. I swear. I call out to her and slowly place the vanilla cone in her outstretched hands, being careful to make sure she has a good hold of it before letting go. At least her tastes are fairly normal. I was worried she'd ask for some weird flavor when she first asked. Here's the change. It's okay. Keep it. I moved to protest but realized the futility of doing so over such a small amount. I slipped the coin into my. It was like what, 25 cents? I would have just said, whatever. I'll just say there was no change. 25 cents really ain't shit. Well, half of 1 yen. That would probably be like, I don't even think they have that. Supplementing my meager allowance ever so slightly. Elise shows no sign of wanting to get up, so I take a seat beside her and start eating my own ice cream. The summer weather is nice. Hopefully it will hold out for a while. You too? I'm beginning to think I'm the only person who prefers winter. I contemplate her statement for a long moment. Yeah, I think you might be. It draws the intended reaction. She's cute when she's pouting. Still, I can't really imagine what's so good about winter. You can't go out without bundling up, and you still freeze anyway. I used to live further north, where there'd be plenty of snow to play in, so it's a little nostalgic. I don't like the heat very much either. Well, considering how much hair you have, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be surprised. At least you can wear a skirt, so don't complain about that. She gives an amused giggle as we both get back to finishing off our already melting cones. Oh God, lag! I hardly sit and watch the crowds going by as we eat, catching bits and pieces of conversation. Looking at Lily, I see her dutifully licking her ice cream the, from the top downwards. Yeah, not gonna. No, no, not the right time to make that kind of joke. No, blissfully unaware of the fact that it's beginning to melt. It's melting. Where? Down a bit. She lowers her mouth from the top of the cone, but has no idea of exactly where the ice cream's dripping. What follows is a game of guiding her left to and right until she finally finds it. To any onlooker, it must seem absolutely bizarre. A girl with her eyes closed, turning her cone over and over as the guy next to her gives instructions. A strange variant of a childhood blindfold games, maybe. In good time, we finally finish our treats, and while away the time conversing casually. Caught mid-sentence, Lily perks her head in her trademark manner. It's an unmistakable sign that something's caught her attention. Ah, what is it? Is Kira somewhere over there? I think I heard her. I raise an eyebrow as I look in the direction she's facing, somewhat doubtful of her ability to pick out Akira's lone voice in the din. Sure enough, though, a blonde girl in a suit can be seen through the tiny gaps between people walking every which way. I raise a hand and wave, trying to catch her attention. Satao! Hey, Satao! Get the fuck over here! She stops in her tracks and looks towards me, evidently noticing my calls. As she does, I notice someone walking beside her. The fucking most girlish dressing guy I've ever seen in my life. I can't get a good look at whoever it is, though, before the two begin walking towards where we are. As they reach us, Lily and I stand and dust ourselves off. Akira? Hey, you two. See, most girlish looking boy ever. She nods towards me, a gesture which I quickly return. My gaze shifts towards the young girl next to her, and as me. As they do, Akira plops a hand onto her head, a move which doesn't seem to faze her. I don't believe we met. I'm Hideaki, I think. Pleased to meet you, Hisao. A guy's name, huh? I guess I just dodged a bullet there. He bows, somewhat restrained by Akira's hand being on his head. Oh, Hideaki's here too? Are you well? Akira's been taking very good care of me, thank you. I hate how that kid speaks. Like, seriously, loosen up. Akira grins as if to affirm the point and rubs his head hard, dragging it around in a circular motion. His dreary face during this is somewhat amusing. Uncle's out on business again, so I'm just taking him around town for today. I'd have preferred to be spending a day on a date with my girlfriend, pay no attention to that word. It's a lie. Lesbian. I'm joking. Date with my boyfriend, but Hideaki gives us a cough to try and redirect Akira's thoughts. As he does so, though, I find mine wandering. They're related, and further, as first cousins. I suppose that explains why she's taking care of him in any case. Come to think of it, Hideaki, how do you know my name? Akira told me. Being a Yamaku student, I suppose you're disabled in some way? Not everyone in Yamaku is disabled. Which I only learned a handful of days ago. I give silent thanks to Shizune and Misha for their stream of information about how the school works. Because of them, I found out that since the school will accept practically anybody suffering from non-mental disabilities, it doesn't discriminate against healthy people either. I just noticed where my mouse was. That's bad. It seems likely that many in good health would enroll here, though. While the standard of education is pretty high, it's extremely isolated and very much focused on helping disabled students. You're dodging the question. Damn, he's sharp. Before I can say another word, though, he decides to take a stab at it himself. If I were to call it myself, your heart? Kira looks mildly curiously at me, her interest piqued as well. That sure was a lucky guess. I would have been like, how motherfucker you guessed? How did you... You show no missing limbs or deformities, so external disabilities are out. Considering the lack of any strange mannerisms, it's also unlikely that you have any mental disability. But Yamaku doesn't take mentally disabled students. I know. Even more so. Leaving that aside, the only possibility left is that of internal disabilities. Didn't know which one you might bear, so I guessed, correctly as it turns out, and your reaction confirmed my guess. More than a little bemused, I look to Akira. She grins and shrugs, obviously taking some enjoyment out of her partner's deductions. He's sharp, but more than a little unsympathetic. Logical, but lacking in tact. His attitude reminds me of Shizune in any way. In a way, as do his looks. They're related. May I ask why you were staring at me? Surely I'm not that unusual a specimen. Does he not know how unusual he looks? I could overlook the spats and clothing as just being coincidental, but the ribbon in his hair really is too much. This is entirely beside the point, though. Sorry, you just remind me of someone. Gives a sharp jab. Akira gives him a sharp jab with her elbow. Told her you're not very that much different from her. He coughs into his hand and tries to maintain an upright and serious demeanor. I see you met my sister then. Perhaps my full name might help you. I'm I am Hideaki Hakamichi. Yeah, it's Shizune's little brother, and she probably tortures him by making him dress in girls' clothing. Very bad. You are probably thinking of my sister, Shizune Hakamichi. Oh, so he's Shizune's brother. Wait a minute. If Hideaki is the son of Akira's uncle and Shizune is his sister, then that means Lily and Shizune's fathers are brothers. Therefore, Lily and Shizune are first cousins. Wrong thing to say. Lily groans in an uncharacteristically unrestrained manner. The reaction earns an amused smirk from her sister. The enmity between the two just took on another meaning. I had thought it was simply a matter of difficulty of communication between the two, but a family feud makes things much more complicated. You can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. I like those words. She gives a half-hearted shrug. She mustn't give as much weight to the two's conflict as I do. Well, that's how it is. What are you two up to anyway on this fine day? We're shopping for Hanako's birthday present. The day will be coming up soon, so this is the last chance we'll have before school starts again for the week. Akira makes a strange face, as if Lily had just said that the sky wasn't blue and the clouds not white. Nah, dude, the sky is green and the fucking clouds are fucking violet. Isn't her birthday on the 10th next month? Yes, why? Is something wrong? Akira's face seems to collapse. It's an utterly unbefitting expression for someone so rowdy and headstrong. The folks didn't call you yet. As Lily shakes her head cluelessly, I look at Hideaki to see if he knows anything about this. A simple shrug is his only answer. For a moment, Akira ponders what to do before smiling once again. The fact that she can hide her emotions so quickly and effectively is unsettling, to say the least. Hey, Shorty. Sorry, could you hang out with us out for a while? Called him Shorty. I would have called him Woman. Would have been like, hey, girly, why don't you just hang out with this dude for a while? He nods and waves her off. Kira placing an arm on Lily's shoulder as she guides her away and out of earshot. So I'm alone with Shorty. So, nice weather, isn't it? Seems so. Guess they dumped us. Indeed. What a... Oh, God, not another hard word for me to pronounce. A farcical? Farcical? Farcical attempt at small talk? Yeah. I've got no idea of how to talk to this guy, and his robotic responses aren't helping. Blood and stone come to mind. Without another word, he begins to rock on his feet in an obvious gesture of boredom with this discussion. He really is like a little kid, despite his serious demeanor. Suspecting the conversation over, I decide to accomplish what I came here to do in the first place. I'm going to search for a present. Coming? Not much else to do. In a little while, we come to a small shop beside a convenience store. For once, the store windows aren't filled with electronics and computer games, but dolls, stuffed bears, and all manners of woodcrafted oddities. Othello's Antiques? An antique store? Well, if there's anything in this town that's Hanako, I guess it'd be here. Reach for the old-looking door handle, but pull back at the last minute as I realize my companion is going adrift. I need to check the time. Yeah, I'm going to stop this real quick and start the next recording.